Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Amoeba Summit 2019. My name is Steve Smelski. I'm Jordan's dad, and I'm with the Jordan Smelski Foundation, and we'd like to welcome you to this, it's actually our fourth Amoeba Summit. We'd like to welcome all those online on live stream for joining in. We've got a great program today. We've got a lot of information to share, some new information that people haven't heard before, so we're excited to actually share everything with you today, and we'd like to thank you for coming. With that, I would like to invite to the stage Dr. Rajan Wadhawan. He's the Senior Executive Officer for Advent Health for Children and Advent Health for Women. And if it wasn't for him, we never would have had the first Amoeba Summit. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Wadhawan.
Thank you, Steve, and good morning. I want to welcome you all on behalf of Advent Health for Children, to our fourth annual Amoeba Summit, as Steve just mentioned. We've been partnered with Jordan Smelski Foundation, and actually Shelley and Steve, before they formed the foundation. When I met them quite some time ago now, I still remember that day. It was under tragic circumstances that we had met. And I started to think, we exist as a children's hospital because we want to take care of children in our community and beyond, and we want to do all we can to advance the health and safety of all children. And this was a perfect opportunity for us to engage with them and their foundation to continue to fulfill that goal and mission that we have as a children's hospital. A lot has happened in the last 4 years since we've been here, meeting here every year. We have advanced our understanding of what we can do to help children who may contract this disease. I am sure we have prevented many of these children from getting the disease in the first place, because prevention really is the eventual strategy for something like this that continues to have a very high degree of fatality. Not 100% fatality, which is good, but still extremely risky and fatal disease, so prevention is the best approach. It is hard to put a number on that as to how many kids have been prevented from getting this, but you can have comfort in knowing that all these efforts that the foundation has put together, these kind of events, I am sure has helped many children stay away from this deadly disease. We have been able to create care pathways in our institution, and others have taken it as well, to make sure that if a child does show up with this disease, we can quickly respond and provide the most appropriate therapy so that we have a best possible chance of a good outcome. We have availability of miltefosine at our campus, which obviously we did not have before we started doing this kind of work. Most people didn't even think about it because, in general terms, it is still considered to be a rare disease. It's not rare for somebody who contracts it. It's not rare for a child who may not make it if they develop this condition. But in general terms, it's not on top of mind for most people. But what this has done is that it put top of mind for our ER. We have an alert in our electronic medical record. If a child shows up who may have symptoms that match amoebic meningoencephalitis, all of a sudden alarm bells go off. Chances are the alarm bells are going to go off way more frequently than we're going to have a child who's contracted the disease, but that's okay, because that's the safety mechanism that you have to have in place so that you can actually save a life. And this has saved lives in our institution. So I'm proud to be part of this summit every year, and we hope to continue this partnership. Advent Health is excited to sponsor this event. I also looked at the lineup of speakers and the agenda for today, and I'm sure you're all here for some really intellectual stimulation. It'll be a great event, and I appreciate you all being here, and hope you enjoyed the day. Thank you.
Let's bow our heads for prayer, please. Good morning, Father God. We are so thankful for the opportunity to get together and to learn more about ways that we can take care of your special children. Lord, you are the great physician, the great healer, and you had a special place in your heart for children. You told them, come sit on my knee. We need to all be like children. That's what God told us to do. Now we ask that as we sit through this summit, as we enjoy the information that comes out and as we digest it, that we will learn and take something home with us. Bless the speakers. May their message be clear, and may we understand it, and may we be able to make a difference in our children's lives every single day. Thank you so much for this opportunity. May we make a difference, and may we share your love and extend your healing ministry to all people. In your blessed name, amen.
Thank you, Marty. We decided to change a couple of the things here at the beginning. So I thought I would actually just share for a minute what happened to Jordan and Jordan's story. When we started doing the foundation events, we shared his story all the time. And after a couple of years, we got away from that, and we realized that if we didn't share Jordan's story, the people that heard or were around us couldn't share it with somebody else. And our feeling is that sharing the story allows you to talk to many more people than if you didn't know the story. So this is our son, Jordan. I've just got some pictures up here to give you an idea of who Jordan is, his personality, and a little bit about who he was. Jordan always said first. I want to go first. I want to be first. His friends made him go on roller coasters before they went on it, and they'd say, Jordan, go tell us if it's okay if we can go on it. He'd get off. He said, no, you better not go on that one. This is our first trip to Costa Rica, and it was the first time Jordan rode on a horse. And the cowboy that spoke English that came up next to me after about 20 minutes into the ride, he looked at me and goes, is that your son in the red shirt? And I said, yes, it is. He said, wow, he's a great rider. I said, yeah, he's doing okay. And he said, well, how long has he been riding? I said, 25 minutes. And he was like, wow. And he had a great time that day. He had no fear, which scared us. He loved the zip line. This was the second trip to Costa Rica in 2014. The day after we went ziplining, Jordan and I spent the afternoon in a pool, and it was filled with hot spring water, and going down the slide forced water up Jordan's nose. And because it was near a volcano, they pumped it up out of the ground at 103 degrees, and it went down through a series of pools. And the last pool at the bottom of the hill had a water slide, and he and I went down that slide all afternoon. And you couldn't go down the slide without having the water go up your nose. That's the pool that we swam in. And we'd come down on the mats, and when you got to the bottom, you can see the water splashed up, and it went up his nose. We didn't know it wasn't chlorinated, and we didn't know Nigluria could live in hot spring water. So what we didn't know actually led to his death, and if we'd known that it lived in hot spring water, we probably never would have spent the day in the pool. But the day after we swam in this pool, he had a headache. And since it's the second time to Costa Rica, and it's hard to get anything for headaches and stuff, we treated him with Motrin. The next day, he had a headache again, and then on the third day, we flew back to Orlando, and he had a headache that day. So it was 3 days in a row, and by Friday night, he really wasn't feeling that well. He went to bed, got up Saturday, played some games for a while, and then on Saturday afternoon, he just laid around and he said, oh, my head hurts, and we knew something was wrong, and we were concerned because we'd been out of country. We'd been to an animal farm, we'd been around a lot of different things. We didn't think about the pool because we'd done the same thing 3 years before. By Saturday night, he went to bed, he complained of a headache, stiff neck, and then he started vomiting, and he vomited all night long. When we got up Sunday morning, we said, all right, we're taking him to the ED, and we brought him in. And because of the stiff neck, they suspected meningitis, and they went ahead and did a lumbar puncture. We gave them the authority to do it, and it came back, the CSF was clear. They did a CT scan. They said, well, we don't see anything. It looks like meningitis, and you're going to take him home in 3 to 5 days. They admitted him Sunday afternoon. Sunday night, he had a rough night. Friday, he actually was pretty good. And we were thinking, okay, we're out of the woods and we're in the clear. And then Monday night, it got worse, and his headache really went bad. He said it was a 9 on a scale of 1 to 10. And so we asked them to get some actually morphine they brought in because he couldn't take any more of the painkiller he was on. And as soon as they gave him the morphine drip, his pupils dilated and he hallucinated for the next 4.5 hours. And it got worse as it went. He was seeing things, he was saying things to Shelley and I that didn't make sense. And we were pretty scared. We were just in a room. We were trying to get the nurse to come in. And after a couple hours, his extremities started shaking. He couldn't hold his legs around. We laid on top of him for like an hour and a half to keep him from knocking the IV out. We finally got the nurse to come in, and they brought in the ICU team just as he had a seizure. And at the end, he had a blank stare. He looked at us. He didn't know who we were. He didn't know where he was. He had the seizure. He rolled over on his side. They moved him to ICU. They got him stable. And by the next morning, they said, well, I think we've got him stable. I think we'll be okay. And then he got worse again on Tuesday evening, and we gave them the authority to have a neurosurgeon drill and put a drain to relieve the pressure because we're worried about it pressing down on his brainstem. That's in that sample. That's when they found Naegleria. So we ordered the drug from the CDC, and it arrived in Orlando. I think it was 8 p.m. on Wednesday, and Jordan had died at 6:35 a.m. on Wednesday, which was 7 days and 12 hours after swimming. And he was healthy before we swam, and that's how fast it is. So we like to go ahead and tell the story because if I don't share it with you, you can't share it with somebody else. So we ask that you please take the information and share it with your family and friends, because what we found is Naegleria is in every fresh body of water. And you know, it may be very rare, but when it happens to your child, there's nothing rare about it. And there's not much you can do, and most people are not prepared to find it. So that's why we started the foundation. We knew about the brain-eating amoeba for years because there have been so many cases in Central Florida. Dr. Sharon's going to talk about some of that in a few minutes. In 2007, there were 3 cases right here in Central Florida. We said we'd never let Jordan swim in a lake, and we live on a lake, and he didn't. But we never thought about it when we were out of country at that resort, and it was in that pool. And we still lost him. So we never Googled it. We never knew. Its technical name was Naegleria fowleri. We just knew it as the brain-eating amoeba. And that's exactly what it does, and that's why we need to change it and how we treat it and for awareness. We used this at Jordan's funeral as he rode off into the sunset. I remember that day, and we just didn't know it would be the last time we go horseback riding with him. So we've worked with Florida. Actually, I knew I was going to say Florida Hospital today. Florida Hospital for Children, which is now Advent Health for Children. And we started working with them because we realized that if we didn't do anything, nothing was going to change. And if it's not us, then who? So we approached Dr. Wadhawan, we met with the doctors, and we've been doing a lot of different things. So today, you received a t-shirt when you came in. You also received poker chip. We've got wristbands, a lot of things to remind people. I just wanted to say, the slogan on the chip that we gave you is, "Don't gamble with Pam." Our idea on the chips for spreading awareness was, if you take the chip and leave it somewhere for somebody to find and take a picture of it and post it on Instagram or Twitter with the picture with the hashtag "Don't Gamble with Pam," it actually shows up on our website and people can see it and they can go look for it. So that was our idea behind the chip. It's just another way to get awareness out. So we ask for your help today in sharing what you've received here with others in the hopes that they'll go out and look and find some information and then share it. There's a lot of different things that we can all do. we need your help to do it. That's why we come up and we do the summits, and we ask for your help. And we've had a lot of people help along the way. Our program today is going to talk about everything that we've learned in the last 4 or 5 years. I'm amazed at where we are. If you told me this 5 years ago, I don't know if I would have believed it. So we've actually been able to save a life here. Now we just need to share it and save many, many more. So we've done something different this year that we haven't done before. In the other summits, we stayed completely on Naegleria. This time we turned it into a 2-day event. We've invited researchers in from 9 different universities. I just wanted to ask, would those from the universities please stand up? Thank you. So this is the first time, and tomorrow we're going to share some information. So it's going to be very interesting, and we're going to learn a lot from that, and I hope you learned some from what we've been working on today. The other thing that we haven't done before is we've invited more families that have died from amoebas, and we actually have 4 of them represented. Would you mind standing up? Dr. Gump, is Caitlin here? Dr. Gump just walked out. So everybody says it's rare, and we have 4 families represented here of 4 loved ones, 2 that died from Naegleria and 2 that died from Balamuthia. So we would like to thank you for coming and participating. So we're trying to include more families because we think we can take this beyond what we can provide. So let me just check my time. I was looking to see if Donna Walsh was here today. Donna, let me invite you up. Ms. Donna Walsh is our health officer for Seminole County Public Health for the state of Florida, and Donna was instrumental in helping us pull the first 2 together, and I'd like to thank you for coming.
Good morning, everyone. You know, it has been a true honor and privilege to work with Steve and Shelley Smelski in their efforts to promote early detection and treatment of this tragic disease. And they have accomplished, as Mr. Smelski has mentioned, so much over the last 5 years. It's amazing. You know, so much more than we have, honestly, in public health been able to accomplish over all these years. So we thank you so much for that. They've also been instrumental in developing, and I'm looking at Dr. Dumois here, the care pathways so that early detection and treatment can occur. And you know, I can't applaud you all enough. I'm just thrilled that we have the researchers here and that this has become a 2-day summit now. In the event that you didn't know, the second part is tomorrow at the University of Central Florida College of Medicine. So I do thank you for being here today. I encourage you, even after today's summit, that this is being recorded, to go back and review some of the material that's going to be discussed, because it's difficult to take it all in at once. So just want to welcome you to the summit today. There will be many more to come and much more progress to be made. So thank you.